Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here, we successfully created our mark, that means the mark ad page, and into the mark ad page I have assigned some of the field as a year, and that is our class and then our subject, right? So for the subject, as I told you friend, so here I want to get all the data. That means I want to, when you selected any class, automatically this class related all that subject will be loaded. And also if you select as a class 2 1, then class 1 all that subject will be loaded. So I have already created this table. If you go to our database, and you can see that is our assigned subject. So if you open that assigned subject, so into the assigned subject, that is the class ID, and also you can see that is actually our subject ID, and subject ID means here that is getting this data from our another table. If you go to our school, that means school subject, and into the school subject here you can see that is all that our ID. So now I want to get this name. Okay, so appropriately when you select as a class 1, that is a 1 ID data, it should be getting which things is related with this 1 ID, every subject it should be get, and then I want to create another relationship. With this relationship I will get this name. It's pretty much simple process we have to do, we have to work, right? So I have already created one of the JavaScript. If you go to our ad page, and here I have already created this one of the JavaScript and this one, right? So here I have created one of the route as a marks and the get subject. So with this, that will be one of the routes that we here I want to pass all the data with the JSON format, and that is our URL. I have created one of the controller as a default controller, and that is our method, right? So if you go to the default controller, and here you can see there is a method. So as I told you friend, here I want to actually pass all the data with the JSON format. So if you want to pass this data with the JSON format, here also you have to make it as a request and then the $request, right? So that will be as a request and the $request. So first of all we have to take our requested field name. I take one of the variable as a class ID, class underscore ID, and this will be our requested data. So our requested data in our ad page, our requested data name as a same name maybe. You can see that is our requested data, right? So from here that is actually our class ID. So now I name it as a class ID. That will be our requested data. So now I want to get this data. That means I want to take another variable as a add data. Okay, I think it should be very much clear to you, and also better from our marks controller. I want to copy every model. Okay, I copy all that model and I want to support it in our default. I simply support it. So now we have to work in our assigned subject. Here there is actually no assigned subject. Better I want to actually add it after this. Okay, after this I want to add another one. If you go to our model, into the model, and that is our assigned subject, right? So into the assigned subject, here you can see I have also created that relationship. I have already created that part, that means the student class, and also I have created another one as a school subject. So with this school subject I have created that relation with our school subject, right? That means here I have already did this work. So into the relation assigned subject, into the assigned subject, that is this subject ID will be matched with our this school subject, this ID. When it should be matched, then I want to get this name. So I have already created this relation with our school subject. You can see I have created that method name as a school subject. Okay, and if you go to our mark, into the script area, I want to check it. Into the script area, into the value, you can see with this value I am already added this same method, that is our school subject method, and with this school subject method I am accessing that name, right? That means I have created that relation with our school subject, and I want to access this name. Okay, so that means that should be visible on here. Perfect. And then that I have created that relation, that is our assigned subject to our school subject. I think friend every part is very much clear to you. So that is our assigned subject model. You can see that is the assigned subject model. That means this model or this database table, this is our assigned subject. So into the assigned subject, this subject ID will be matched with our this school subject this ID. If you go check this this method, you can see there is a subject ID is matched with our this ID. Okay, so right now we can able to access that name. Perfect. So that is our model. I want to support it. So here I support this access more that we access subject, right? So now with this assigned subject, I put that condition first, that is a with, that means our relationship method, our method name, I name it as a school subject. I copy it, so that will be as a school subject. Okay, into the school subject I put that condition. Now we can able to access that direct name. And now where I want to put that another condition, where our class ID, class underscore ID. Okay, our class ID, that means this class ID means in our assigned subject. If you go to our assigned subject and this class ID, okay, this class ID will be our this requested class ID, which I have take that things with this variable. Here I simply want to pass it. Okay, and then simple process, I get this data, that means the get all the data. Okay, and after that I want to return it, because here we have to pass this data, we have to pass this with the JSON format. I name it as a response, and then that will be as a return response JSON. Okay, that will be the return response JSON, our this data, right? So that is actually our all data. So now I simply pass it. I hope, friend, that is very much clear to you. Okay, so that is a simple process I did on here. That is a with, I created that relationship, that is our relationship method name, and where our class ID and in our assigned subject table class ID will be matched with our this requested ID, which requested ID I actually pass from here. That means that is actually our requested ID, right? So when it will be matched, then I want to get this data and return this response data to the JSON, and that is our all data. That means here I pass all the data. So now if you go to our marks, okay, here you can see I get this our type as a get, so I get that relationship, that is our route. So from here I get all that our data. Now that will be loaded. That means the subject, select subject, and this select subject will be loaded with our this function, that means our method name. So with this method I have created that relation, right? So now it should be display our this field name. Okay, perfect. So now that's all. So now if everything okay, it should be now loaded. Okay, it should be now loaded. Now let's check this out, and here I name this our field name, that is our class ID, and that is our assigned subject ID. Now if you click as a save all, and if you go there, click as a refresh, so right now that is totally empty. Okay, I select one of the year, and now if you click as a class 1, yes, you can see, friend, class 1, all that subject is now successfully loaded. And if you click as a class 2, yes, again it's reloaded, and class 2, all that subject is now loaded. Class 3, for the class 3, that is all that class 3 you can choose. Class 4, and for the 4, that is all that our subject. That means everything is dynamic. You can see for the class 5 they have no subject, it's now visible as a null. Perfect. So now everything working. So that is the main functionality. I think, friend, it's very much clear to you. Okay, so that is our assigned subject ID, and also I have added this assigned subject ID. You can see that is our assigned ID. So here it should be loaded our this option. So with this school subject, I display that name. For the reasons here, you can see it's not display that ID, it's display all that our name. That means that is our school subject, all that name. Okay, perfect. And also now I want to add another one. So if you go to our mark controller, into the mark controller, I have passed that also the exam. Okay, that means that will be actually exam, exam type, right? So from to the exam type I want to get all the our data. That means exam type, if you go to our database table, the database table here I have also created another one as exam type. You can see every model is related with the some of the table. So there is our first terminal, second terminal, and third terminal. So this is the data I want to load. It's pretty much simple. I want to go to our mark add, and here that is our second one. Better I want to copy it, okay, or I want to copy this one. I copy this one. There is a call md3. I copy it, and after this, okay, after this 3, here I want to paste it. So that will be another one. So here I name it as exam type. Okay, I name it as exam type, and then from here, from our mark controller, I pass as a exam type. That is our variable, and I get all that our data and pass it in our mark add page. That means into the mark add page, that will be same as the exam type. I name it as exam. Okay, I name it as exam, and with this exam I want to display that exam ID, and then I want to display that exam name, because here there is a name actually the same as a name, you can see. Okay, so now it should be display that name. And then the exam type ID, I want to use that, or if you go to, I want to store this data in our student mark, right? So into the student mark, there is a year ID, class ID, assigned subject. I didn't add this field. I also want to add another field as a exam type. Okay, that means the exam type ID, this type of one of the field, this data I also want to insert. Okay, so here I didn't use it. Maybe if you go to our model, that means our database, and then the migration, here I added the class ID, assigned subject ID. Okay, so better I want to actually miss it. Better I want to add another one. I copy it and then paste it, so that I want to add another one that will be as a exam. Okay, exam underscore type. Okay, type underscore ID. So this type of one of the field I also want to take. You can roll back it. I think you already know about that part. So right now it's okay with me. I want to add another field actually. Go to that structure, and after this mark, okay, or after this assigned subject, after this assigned subject, I want to add another column. Now click as a go, and now I name it as a exam underscore type underscore ID. So this type of one of the field I want to take as a exam type ID. Okay, I copy it, and also I updated that part here, so later if you need, then you can actually migrate it automatically. It will be loaded. So right now it's okay with me. I missed this field. Okay, so I close it. So that will be as the exam type ID. I make it as an integer, and then I want to make it as a nullable. Okay, I make it as a nullable, and you can also put some of the length as per your demand. Now I click as a, make that sure you add that nullable, because of all every field before I have used it as a nullable. Now click as a save. So now it's successfully taken. Yeah, now you can see there is our assigned subject. That is our exam type ID. So now I want to use this one as the exam type ID, and that will be, I name that ID as the exam type ID. Okay, so that is our name. Perfect. So now it should be loaded all that our exam type. Now if we click as a save all, and now if you go there, now refresh it, yeah, you can see now there is our subject, and there is our another one as the exam type, and all that our exam is now perfectly loaded. Okay friend, so actually that is two data will be calculated, and here I want to insert two of this also in our this table. That means I have created this table as a student marks. Here I want to actually add all that our marks. Okay, that means the years will be selected, class will be selected, assigned subject will be selected, and exam type will be selected, and then marks will be selected. Okay, that means here I want to input that mark. So perfect, so everything is looking great. So right now you can use that year, you can use that class, or if you click select as a class, automatically our subject will be loaded, and with this subject I want to add that as a type, that means the exam type, and after that if you click as a search, then it will be loaded on here, right? So that will be just like our role management. So better here we have to work, right now we don't need this. We have to work in particular this area. Okay, that means here, and that this one is for our get that data, that means I get subject data. So better I put some of the note for you. Okay, that is for get student subject. So I just simply put some of the note for you, then it will be helpful. And then here we have to actually work. Okay, and also I want to update it that our this table. Okay, that means this table. So better friend, I want to continue this process. In our next video I will actually load all that our search by data, and here I will load it. Okay, So how we can do that work in our next video. I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.